It's Blast from the Past time once again. I know it's been a while since my last Blast from the Past, but we're here. We're going to be doing another Blast from the Past. This time, it is Wrestlemania 32. Wrestlemania 32, a historic pay-per-view where the women made history, ending the Divas Championship era, flocking in the women's era. This was the night where the women's era began. AJ Styles 2016 was the rookie year of AJ Styles. And we also had Roman Reigns become a WWE champion against Triple H. Oh boy, how do I remember this bloody event? I remember this event pretty well, mainly for the women's match, but so let's go over everything from the pre-show and onwards. So we had 3 pre-show matches. Yes, freaking 3 of them. Kalisto defended the United States Championship against Ballback. Good old Ryback. Mr. Feed Me More. Feed Me More. To be fair, I used to like him. I used to think he was cool with the Feed Me More stuff, but you know, now he's a bit of a tool. Especially when it comes to his podcast. Mr. I Can't Stand WWE. That's Mr. Ryback. He's just bitter that he just didn't have a good career. So Kalisto took on Ballback for the United States Championship, and Kalisto beat him. Kalisto beat Ballback to retain the United States Championship. Then we had a Total Divas rivalry. Oh, jeez, wonder what that reminds me of. Jeez. This brought back some memories. It was Team Total Divas of Brie Bella, Eva Marie, Natalia Paige, and Alicia Fox, taking on Team Bad and Blonde. I know, lame name. This was when Lana made her official in-ring debut, not 2017. This was her official debut. They tried to ignore this when she re-debuted in 2017 against Naomi. It was Team Bad and Blonde. It was Emma. I think this was Emma's only WrestleMania. Emma, Natalia, Naomi, Summer Rae, and Tamina. Jeez. Summer Rae, man. Summer Rae, no, she was underrated. I didn't mind Summer Rae. Summer Rae was very underrated. You know Emma, another one of my Australians who was completely royally screwed all over the damn place. Never was given a fair chance. The Total Divas won this match. Brie Bella made Naomi tap out. I really thought it was going to be Emma, or it would have made sense if it was Lana, because it was Lana that started this whole thing. I do remember that. It was Lana that started this whole thing, so I thought it would have made more sense if Brie submitted Lana. So, this was Brie Bella's supposedly last match. This was the last time she was ever going to wrestle, and she was going to retire. Never ever trust a wrestler when they say, I retire. Never ever trust a wrestler. Never. Never trust them when they say they retire. Now, I like the Bella Twins and that. Now, yes, I like the Bella Twins and everything, but I don't give a crap. I don't care if I like them or if I hate them. Once you say you retire, you retire. I really don't like it when wrestlers say that they retire from the ring, but then they come back. And the Bellas seem like they could be potentially doing that again down the road. But I'm just saying, I just really do not like it when people say they retire, but then they come out of retirement. Because, because they miss competing. I get that, but when you say you retire, you basically got to keep your word on it. Be like Batista. Be like Batista and actually keep your word. But yes, that was the whole point of this match. This was Bree's last match. Supposedly. Back then it was. The Usos battled the Dudley Boys. Ooh! Good old nostalgia! Dudley Boys! Good old nostalgia, I see. Good old nostalgia. Oh, you gotta love nostalgia. Nostalgia was running hot. Even back in 2015. Back in 2015, 2016. Nostalgia was still hot here. The Dudley Boys. I remember everyone being so excited when the Dudley Boys made their comeback. Everyone was so excited to see them. And then they lose a bunch of times to the New Day. And then they lose a bunch of times to the Wyatt family. And then people stopped caring. Yeah, and you know what? People were legitimately upset how the Dudley Boys were treated during their run in WWE. Well, that's what a nostalgia act is supposed to do. They're supposed to put younger teams over. That's what the Dudley Boys served their purpose. They were meant to help other teams like the Wyatts, like the Usos, like the New Day, get over. Yeah, like it made total sense for the frickin' Dudley Boys to win the tag team titles or even, beat the younger talents. And everyone will be claiming that the Dudley Boys buried, a promising upcoming team. So it made a lot of sense for the Dudley Boys. This is what nostalgia acts are supposed to do. Not like a certain Edge. Nostalgia, if you bring back nostalgia acts, their whole purpose should be help younger stars. That's their purpose. And that's what happened here. The Usos beat the Dudley Boys. Makes sense. It makes sense. It's not, give them one more title run. No. It's not, let's give them one more title run. No. If you're a nostalgia act, you gotta do your job. You gotta do your job. And that is help the future. So then we get to the first main match. It was an 8-man ladder match. Now, I believe Neville was in this match. But he got injured. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. It was Kevin Owens, who was the Intercontinental Champion at that time. He beat Ballback. Or was it Dean Ambrose? I can't remember who he beat. I think it was... Was it Dean? Yeah, it was Dean. He beat Ballback the first time, then Dean Ambrose beat him, and then he won it back off Ambrose the second time. Right. My memory is flooding back. Kevin Owens, he was the Intercontinental Champion. He defended against Zack Ryder, Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, Sami Zayn, Sin Cara. Yes, Sin Cara actually got an Intercontinental Championship match, and Stardust, a.k.a. Cody Rhodes. Yeah, this was the last time we ever saw Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. I think Neville was in this match. I think it was either Sin Cara or Zack Ryder that replaced him in this match. I do remember that. And Zack Ryder would shock the world and become the new Intercontinental Champion. Now, if my memory serves me correctly on how this match ended, it was The Miz all by himself. Everybody was down. The Miz was on top of the ladder. He started bragging. He put his hand on the title and started bragging. He started bragging that he was about to become Intercontinental Champion, and Zack Ryder came from behind on the ladder, pushed him off. And Zack Ryder pulled down the Intercontinental Championship. Great moment for Zack Ryder. It was a great moment for him, but unfortunately, it didn't go really far for him. It was the very next night on Raw, he would drop the Intercontinental title back to The Miz when Maryse would make her return to WWE. What a damn shame, WWE. What a damn shame. You could have done something really good with Zack Ryder here, but no, you gotta get The Miz back. This was literally the year The Miz started getting re-pushed again. This was literally the year The Miz got out of jobber status. Like, The Miz was basically a jobber after his WWE title run, his first one. He was basically a jobber after his first run as WWE Champion. He was basically, then he turned babyface. He was doing Miz TV segments after Miz TV segments after Miz TV segments, and he still does them today. And he wasn't really doing much of anything up until this point. And it was by 2016, this guy, The Miz, started getting elevated back up the card again. So 2016 was the year The Miz got re-pushed back as a main event player. So Zack Ryder would win, and then he would ultimately drop it to The Miz on Raw after Mania, which in my opinion is kind of lame, because I really thought they could have done something with Ryder. And then we had AJ Styles take on Chris Jericho. This wasn't the last time we saw Chris Jericho. That was WrestleMania 33. Chris Jericho would, some reason, beat AJ Styles here. This was something that really confused me. I don't know why Chris Jericho won this. It was a good match. I don't know why Jericho won this match against AJ Styles. I really felt like Jericho should have really lost this. I really felt like AJ Styles, at the time when I watched this, I felt like Styles needed the win because it was his first WrestleMania, and I was confused on why AJ won. Or why Jericho won, sorry. I felt like AJ should have won, but that wasn't the case. But Jericho and Styles did have a great match nonetheless. Oh boy, who remembers this stable? The League of Nations. Yeah, who remembers that failure of a stable? Alberto Del Rio, Rusev, and Sheamus and Wade Barrett. This was the last time we would ever see Wade Barrett in WWE as a wrestler. They would face the New Day. And the League of Nations actually won this match. Shocked me, to be honest. And then Wade Barrett grabbed the mic and he started proclaiming that nobody, no stable, is better than the League of Nations. And out came three legends. I believe it was Stone Cold, Mick Foley, and Shawn Michaels. They came out and they completely annihilated League of Nations. Yep, that was pretty much that whole chestnut. Good freaking job. Good job there, guys. Good job. What a crappy stable that was. What a crappy stable the League of Nations was. To be fair, it had potential if it wasn't designed for one reason, to get Roman Reigns over. This was during the whole period where WWE were shoving Roman Reigns down our throats and really trying to get people to get behind him. This was the period that WWE started doing it. And it got on people's nerves. And then we had Brock Lesnar take on Dean Ambrose in a no-holds-barred street fight. I remember not liking this match. And it's not because of Dean, it was more because of Brock. I mean, you got a no-holds-barred street fight concept in your hand. And you don't do much with it. I'm trying to remember the build to this match. I'm trying to think of the build. I'm trying to remember. I think the whole build was Mick Foley and Terry Funk. They gave Dean their iconic weapons, the barbed wire and the chainsaw, to use on Brock. And I think he never even used them. I think Dean never used them in the match. My memory of this match isn't all that great because I didn't like this match. I really didn't like this match at all. This wasn't a good match. And typical WWE, they gotta have Vince McMahon's boy, his favorite, Brock Lesnar, to go over and win this match. Brock Lesnar didn't need this win. Whenever Brock doesn't need a win. Because remember, if the guy loses, he's buried. Because I remember when he lost to Goldberg, which didn't happen later that year, in 2016, which didn't happen later that year, everybody proclaimed everything about Brock Lesnar was dead. Oh, how wrong were they? But yeah, Brock won a pretty crappy no-holds-barred match. Here we go. Let's talk about the main attraction, the best part of the entire show, And that was the inaugural WWE Women's Championship match. It was Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks in a triple threat for the Women's Championship. They retired the Divas Championship. This is the time that the Divas Championship finally got retired and was completely dead. This is when the women's evolution began, where they finally got rid of the whole moniker of girls being divas. So the championship was retired. Charlotte still did come out with the belt, but it was thrown away. It was never to be seen again after her entrance. So Charlotte has gone down as the final Divas champion in the title's history. Oh man, what a match this was. I really enjoyed this match. I was Team Charlotte in this entire match. I did like Becky. I did like Becky in 2016. But true fact is, I didn't really like Sasha at first. I know some of you may think it's weird now that I love Sasha today. It's because Sasha finally won me over. Sasha won me over. 2016 was the year Sasha won me over. I think if I can find that episode of Raw, from 2016 where Sasha won me over, I don't think... I never reviewed anything from 2016. I think the only stuff I reviewed from 2016 was December. Fastlane, TLC, couple Raw and SmackDowns, and then some of 2017. Because during my early years, I wasn't really pumping out every episode. Like, if I knew what happened, or if I was watching what was going on, I would be able to review it. But if I didn't watch it, or I didn't see anything at all, I don't think I'd review it. Because during my early days, I wasn't pumping out review after review after review, whether if I watched it or if I looked it up on the internet. So, during my early years, I wasn't really, during my early years of YouTubing, when I started this, I wasn't really doing a whole lot. I don't think I reviewed every pay-per-view from 2017 either. At least I don't think I did, but I might have to look things back on that. But yeah, I didn't really buy into Sasha at first, because people were telling me, oh, she's one of the best, you'll love her, she's incredible. And at the time, I didn't see the appeal. I was like, yeah, she's good, but I can't see the appeal. It's kind of like how I feel about Bianca Belair today. That people tell me that she's really good, but I really don't see the appeal of her. If I can find what Raw it was, I will definitely talk about it as a blast from the past. If I can find that Raw that won me over with Sasha Banks. And I'll go into depth, and I'll talk about it if I can find it. So I was Team Charlotte all this match. I was Team Charlotte. I loved Charlotte from the moment I saw her. I loved Charlotte from the moment she came up in 2015. I was a Charlotte girl from the start. Yeah, come at me. I was a Charlotte girl from the start. So, this match was won by Charlotte, and of course that annoyed a lot of people. At the time, it put a smile on my face. I was like, yeah, everybody thought Sasha was going to win, Because at the time, I was just like, everyone thought Sasha was going to win, but it was Charlotte. Yeah, that's kind of how I acted when this happened. Because when this match first came about, everyone's like, Sasha's winning, Sasha's going to go over. It's going to be Sasha's night. Everyone was so sure it was Sasha's night. Everyone was so sure that this night belonged to the boss, and how wrong everybody was. It was a great match. Charlotte did a moonsault on the outside. Sasha almost killed herself with a dive. Back and forth. It was really a great match. But in the end, Ric Flair, who was at ringside for Charlotte's match, and yes, Charlotte was just known as Charlotte back then. It was until Hell in a Cell pay-per-view when she versed Sasha, they added the Flair to her name. I think that was when they added the Flair to her name. Don't know why they did. They didn't need to add the Flair to her name. But Ric Flair would actually stop Sasha from getting in the ring, because Ric Flair was at ringside. And Charlotte would have the figure 8 on Becky. Sasha was trying to get in to break up the count, but Ric Flair would grab Sasha's leg and prevent her from saving the matchup. Becky would tap, and Charlotte is the first ever champion. And I was kind of giggling. I was like, haha, everybody thought Sasha was winning, but really it was Charlotte. So I was a happy guy. I was a very happy boy back in 2016. So I found it really funny that everybody thought Sasha was winning, but that's WWE for you. And you think you know what's gonna happen, it doesn't happen. And by the way, Sasha got a really cool entrance. I will say her entrance was cool. They had Snoop Dogg come out to the ring. And how ironic is it? And I actually want to talk about her entrance real quick. The lyrics that he sung at this match at WrestleMania are the exact same lyrics that are on her theme song, on her current theme. The yes, yo, so fresh, yo, Snoop Dogg, Sasha Banks, the best, yo, bow down to the new champ at WWE. All the words that he said at WrestleMania 32 are basically added to her theme. How many of you people knew that? How many of you people knew that? Not yet. Best match of the night. Women's match. Best match of the night, in my opinion. And I felt like nothing was going to top it. Then we had The Undertaker and Shane McMahon inside Hell in a Cell. Ugh. Had Shane McMahon won, he would have gained control over Monday Night Raw. Alright, I remember this now. This is when Shane McMahon first came back to WWE. He was gone for so many years. This was when Shane first came back. And this was when he first came back. He wanted control over Raw because he didn't like how Vince and Stephanie were controlling Raw, and he wanted control, and he had to beat The Undertaker. And he had to beat The Undertaker to do it, or if the Undertaker lost, he'd never be able to compete at WrestleMania again. And Undertaker he had one loss under his belt by then. He had one loss under his belt. I almost said he was still undefeated, but no, that WrestleMania 30 he lost. So he still had one loss next to his name. It wasn't until Roman Reigns he lost again. Undertaker would win, and there would be a crazy spot where Shane McMahon would stand on top of the Hell in a Cell, and he would do his suicide elbow drop that he always does, the leap of faith as the games call it. He would do the leap of faith elbow drop off the top of the freaking cell, and Undertaker would move and Shane would crash through the table. Good freaking God, man. If there's one thing about Shane McMahon, this guy just always tries to find a way to freaking kill himself. I swear to God. There's one thing I will praise Shane McMahon for, is that this guy just loves to freaking try to kill himself. He always tries to find a way to freaking kill himself. My God, the guts and the balls of this man. If I was told to jump off a cell, I'd be like, no freaking way I'm doing that. But Undertaker would get the victory after that. He nailed the tombstone. Then we had the Andre the Giant Memorial. The third, I was about to say third annual Battle Royal winner. And the participants in this match were Fandango, Damien Sandow, Shaq O'Neal. Isn't he that same Shaq that's in AEW right now? I think he is. Not sure. But Shaq O'Neal was in this. Big Show, Victor, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page. He was in this. Connor, another legend, Tatanka, Jack Swagger, ECW Hornswoggle. If you guys don't get that, it was funny. Jack Swagger, R-Truth, Goldust, Curtis Axel, Adam Rose, baby! I didn't like Adam Rose. Heath Slater, Tyler Breeze, Mark Henry, Bo Dallas, Darren Young, and Kane, and eventual winner, Baron Corbin. Yep, this was when Baron Corbin made his statement, and this was the one time I felt like WWE actually had the Battle Royal mean something. They gave it to a fresh, new guy from NXT. And the problem is, Baron Corbin back then, I didn't mind him back then. Now he's just a complete ass. And I actually didn't mind the character he had back then either, the Lone Wolf. So yeah, that was a thing. So Corbin won the Battle Royal. Didn't really do much for him, other than win the Money in the Bank and then ultimately squander that. Yeah, I think we all remember that very too well. Oh boy! Who remembers The Rock squashing Eric Rowan in 6 seconds? Yeah, that actually happened. The Rock came out for a segment. He came out for a segment. Was he the host? I can't remember. I think was The Rock the host of this? I can't remember. But anyway, The Rock came out. The Rock came out. He was a guest. I think he was a surprise. I think he was the guest. I can't remember for sure. But he was there. He was at WrestleMania. Wyatt family interrupted him, and The Rock would then challenge one of the Wyatts to a match. That was Eric Rowan. The match would begin. The Rock would hit the rock bottom, and that's that. Yeah. Eric Rowan lost in 6 seconds. Eric Rowan will go down as one of the most biggest pathetic asses in WrestleMania history, falling down to The Rock in 6 seconds. This will lead to the Wyatt family coming in the ring. Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. Luke Harper was out injured. And out came good old John Cena. He would come out and save the day. This was the first WrestleMania without John Cena actually competing. Yes, this was like the first WrestleMania where John Cena wasn't wrestling. So John Cena would come out and save The Rock from a Wyatt family beatdown. How funny is it that The Rock and John Cena despised each other through WrestleMania 28, through WrestleMania 29, and here they are 2 years later, best buds. Now they're all of a sudden best buds. And then we come to our main event. And there was no Randy Orton on this WrestleMania. I think he was still out injured at the time. Then we come to our main event. And that was... And I remember bloody JBL was on commentary through this freaking bloody pay-per-view. I couldn't stand JBL on commentary. If there was one thing I didn't like about these days, and I swear I feel like Corey Graves is turning into that kind of behavior as well, is freaking JBL. God, he was just so damn annoying when it came to his commentary. If there's one thing I wish WWE... If there's one thing I wish WWE would really knock off, is trying to make commentators sound really damn annoying. I just really wish they'd just lay off on making the commentators sound so damn annoying, constantly arguing over, oh, who does this and who does that, you know? It's just so damn aggravating. Like, it's just, like, sometimes I feel it's just so damn hard. It feels like it was so damn hard to watch. Sometimes it's so damn hard to watch what's going on when you're just listening to the commentators constantly bicker and argue. Anyway, Roman Reigns would go on to win this matchup. Triple H was the champion heading into this. Triple H won the 2016 Royal Rumble, which I actually talked about in a Blast from the Past. So you guys might actually have seen that. So Triple H won the WWE title in the Royal Rumble of 2016. And Roman Reigns would go on to win the WWE Championship. This was one of WWE's attempts to get Roman Reigns over, to get the fans to get behind Roman. This is when the whole agenda started. The whole Roman Reigns, we must make Roman Reigns a babyface agenda started. And boy, oh boy, how great is it now? We're here in 2021. How great is it now Roman Reigns is a heel? How great is it that Roman Reigns is a heel, and when you look back at the stuff back then, he was a babyface. Oh, Roman was just so insufferable as a babyface. He was awful as a babyface. Roman was just an awful, awful babyface. Just so bad. Even I didn't like him. Like, I just didn't understand why WWE were trying to make Roman the next big babyface. They had popular guys like Dean Ambrose at the time. I think Dean Ambrose was more over than Roman Reigns was back then. But good lord, man, Roman was just, oh, he was just so insufferable. Just didn't really like Roman at all. But, yeah, Roman would win the title from Triple H. Roman actually speared Stephanie McMahon in this match. Yes. If you've seen the match, he actually speared her into oblivion. So Roman would spear Stephanie into oblivion. Triple H would try to use the sledgehammer, but would ultimately fail. And Roman Reigns won the WWE Championship, or WWE World Heavyweight Championship, as it was called back then. Oh man, I just didn't really like this match at all. It was more that we all knew Roman was winning. I think that's what killed the match the most. Like, oh, we all knew Roman was winning here. Sometimes predictability is bad, but you know, sometimes you just know the predictable outcome is going to happen. So there you go, guys. There you go. There is my blast from the past. WrestleMania 32. I hope you guys enjoyed my review from this old pay-per-view. And, yeah. I'll see you all next time.